right, y'all.
Welcome to Shazam: Fury of the Gods review. Hi, Brandon. You're still there. I see you. We're here to talk about the newest DC cinematic universe, or not. Depends on who you ask, or what the post-credit scene you do or do not see. We're here to talk about the newest movie. I'll tell you first off, out of all the four of us, now three of us here, I like Shazam the least out of the group here. And I'm pleasant to say, I think this movie, it's a pretty good time. I'm not going to say it's life-changing. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it is a great time at the movies. It is what I want a comic book to be. You know, here's your mission statement. You do your mission statement. You got some good action scenes. You got some good comedy. It's a good time at the movies. How are you feeling about this one, Ben?
Honestly, I think I like the first one a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I was sitting on the Shazam Fury of the Gods for a little bit, and I also had a fun time with the movies, but at the same time, I was like, it's good. Pretty much, it's not like, I don't want to like bust out like how I felt about Black Adam. I was like, Black Adam's mid. Whereas this one is like, I mean, it's a little bit better than Black Adam, but still kind of the same range a little, at least for me.
Sure. I like it considerably more than Black Adam.
Yeah, I
also don't think it's that hard. So you know,
I mean, if you were to put a gun on my head and say, "Do you want to watch Black Adam or Shazam Fury of the Gods?" I pick Shazam Fury of the Gods every day of the week. I don't care. I'm not watching I don't want to watch Black Adam again.
Yeah, but this review won't get 10,000 views if you don't say mid.
Okay, it's mid.
There we go. 10K.
There. 10K views right now.
100K. Ooh, Sparkz. How you feeling about the gods and their fury?
No, I was pretty positive on this. Yeah. I think it's like a better Joss Whedon's Justice League, right? Like the way you go to enjoy a comic book movie at the movie theaters. I think this is a
light
better,
and fluffy,
a better of that.
Yeah.
I think I also like Ben kind of like the first one more, mostly because I think the character stuff that's central, like Billy's arc in that film, is tighter than the character stuff we get in this one.
Who's Billy?
Billy Batson.
Oh, Billy Batson's in this movie?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a great point of what I mean. But Billy has a very clear arc that's, very tied to his mom and coming into the foster home. Yes. And I think that story is genuinely like kept clear at the heart, and like not only that, but like paralleled very well by the Dr. Savannah, who is a boy who was rejected and Billy's a boy who was accepted. Kind of stuff. And I think that's all very well integrated into that film. And the character stuff here, I find a little more. Not that there isn't good stuff here. There is, but it's for certain characters, and it's very haphazardly placed throughout the film.
Yeah.
Mag's right. Taste Rainbow.
Yeah.
Got me good too.
Taste Rainbow got everyone good.
There are some really funny moments in this movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the thing. Is like, I laughed really hard at a lot of this movie in a way that I didn't anticipate.
Yeah, same.
And I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah.
Particular, like, to be honest, to me, and I kind of wish the movie had just leaned into it more rather than felt, frankly, like beholden to the stardom of Zachary Levi, which I think is part of it. But this kind of felt like it should have been Freddy's movie,
dude.
To a large extent, because
God.
The actor's killing it. The actor for Freddy,
Jack Dylan Glazer.
Yeah,
he's good in that first movie. This performance, I'm like, this dude's really good,
and he's been good in a lot of movies. Like we loved him in It.
Yeah,
like I'm not surprised he's been one of the most talented from that It cast.
Yeah.
So like him killing it,
his charisma
he's only getting better.
Is off the charts in this movie,
man. And he has some of the best laughs. I would argue he has the most clear arc for this film. And I enjoyed it. And I think if you put a little bit more focus on Freddy, even if that is through the lens of Billy, like it's about Billy and Freddy. And I think they almost started that in the movie, like the rift between them.
Yeah.
And if they were both pulled more central into the character arc of the film, I think this film would be very, very solid.
I agree. And while I do enjoy that, there was a Shazamly, I do think having that many characters and not giving everybody the same amount of screen time, and sometimes like kids are depowered. So like, why are you just hanging out, I guess, which is fine, I guess. Like, the whole depowering thing is interesting. I don't know. I thought the villains were fun. They were fun. I really liked Helen Mirren. I thought Lucy Liu was really fun. She went to see her a little, maybe too hard. Maybe a little too hard.
I went into it like fearing Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu being very like paint by numbers villains.
Yes.
And very quickly it becomes clear that Lucy Liu is unhinged.
Yes.
And Helen Mirren's going to have to reel her in.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you've already given me more than I was anticipating. And these are both talented actors who know how to carry the weight of the material that they're being given.
Yes.
Also, making Helen Mirren monologue read that long, stupid letter
with all
is a 10 out of 10 cinema moment.
Yeah. With all the
I goddamn loved it. Yeah, just like reading every error as she goes. I was like, this is killer. It's like, do we have any Gatorade? Do we have red?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Steve, secret MVP of the movie, that little pen. Being funny without saying a word. Real great.
Did the pen just shrug?
Yeah.
I love that bit.
This is
no like the.
Go ahead. No, go
ahead. Going on that monologue bit, she was. You gotta love when Helen Mirren is playing like this obviously this god who's thousands upon thousands of years old, and she's just reading this letter with a completely straight face, reading all the errors, and that just got me laughing. She's just like, what is this Gatorade?
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Like Lucy Liu has some really good reaction moments like that kind of thing. I think they're both pulling their weight plenty for this film.
Yeah.
I agree with Mag. I would have liked Mary to maybe get development too. I think that this movie, like, it should have been about Freddie and Billy, and then kind of Mary on the side of that as like the oldest, and like kind of recognizing that Billy's, as she does, like, it's not that it's not there, it's just not fully developed.
She's going to college.
Of her recognizing, no, she was stopped by Billy.
She's
from going to college.
She's studying for college.
Which frustrates her.
Yeah.
And it rightly should. And I think being present and like her analyzing Billy, and I think that should be more directly present on, like, she's like, you're pushing Freddie away by trying to keep him tight. And then why Billy has trouble saying mom, like, when they brought that up at the beginning of the movie, you knew that there was going to be a come around moment.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, because the kids have aged the amount of time they have since Shazam, and Billy's that much older, it didn't work for me to believe that he's just been so resistant to calling her mom this entire time. I'm like, why? Like, it just doesn't fit. I agree with you, Mag. Mag's making that point, and I agree.
Yeah.
I felt like that was very forced and weird, and like you could have done the same amount of her reassuring him that they love him and he's family.
Yeah.
With him just being afraid that, like, when he hits the age, he's gonna move out.
Yeah.
Regardless of like the him calling her mom or not thing. Like, you just didn't need that beat.
There was definitely potential for a lot of really good character moments with, like, Billy's story, or Billy's main motivation is to try to keep his family together for as long as humanly possible, which causes the rift between him and Mary, causes a rift between him and Freddie, possibly causing a rift between him, Pedro, the yellow other sister whose name I completely forgot, Darla, and
I love her.
Eugene. Yeah. Essentially, like, the three of them is like, dude, you're trying too hard. Eventually, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna have to move on eventually. So the fact that wasn't really explored or there wasn't a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
I would say is a little detriment. I mean, it's still there. The plot is still there. I just wish it went a little bit deeper. And also, when Billy calls Rosa and everyone else calls her mom, I would have liked that being another big subplot of Billy getting over the fact that his mom never wanted him in the first place.
Sure.
Like, essentially saying like, because he accepted the kids as his family, and he's loving hanging out with them. Freddie's his best friend, is also his brother, but he still has some traumatic stress, he still has some trauma dealing with the fact that when he finally found his mom in the first movie, she straight up said, no, I don't want you in my life. That's why I left you there.
Yeah.
So he's scared to go through that. I think there could have been still a little bit more, instead of, because what he says, bye Rosa, everyone else says mom. And then we get to that one part in the movie where he says, I love you too, mom. It's like, I don't want to say it didn't feel earned, but at the same time, it's like there could have been a little bit more. Just like, I mean, I know this is a superhero movie and it's about gods and ancient magic, but there still could have been some really good character development and character growth from Billy, and also seeing more of Billy as a kid instead of seeing Zachary Levi 90%.
The first movie, it's about like Shazam being a god, and that movie's full of heart. Like this movie does have heart. It's just like, it's few and far between, as opposed to just being like a kind of like a big fun action movie, which I really like. But like, this movie does not have as much heart, or like, more like with Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man lost a lot of heart when it went to the Quantumania stuff. Like I I don't know what I'd get rid of because I really like all the villain stuff and like all the like the fancy like monsters. That last act is so fun. I love last act, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that last act too. I don't know what could have. I don't want to say fixed it because once again, I do like this movie.
Yeah,
but I still feel that there could have been more with Billy and Rosa.
It's definitely one
Billy's
of those
like not in the movie.
It's definitely one of those movies where it falls on that line of like it's bothersome because you see the potential to have been great and instead it lands at good.
Yeah.
And it's clearly there, like a little bit more of something somewhere here, somewhere there would have made great. And it doesn't end up there. Man, I'm of two minds about this because the thing is, like, I love seeing the adult superhero cast. I think they're awesome. I also like seeing the kids. I think the kids are awesome.
Yeah,
they're still just as awesome as they were in the first one. But I like seeing the adult superheroes. But I'm like, there are scenes where I'm like, why are they in their powered up forms? And like to me, what would have been more valuable is like, I don't mind Asher Angel not really being in the movie much in the sense of like, I don't think he's very good.
I think that's why he's not in the movie.
So I don't mind that as much, but I think you could have created a story thing where like when they're hanging out the Rock of Eternity, unless it's Eugene going through the doors and like actively doing something related to his powers, they're in their depowered kid forms, and all of them except for Billy. And Billy's staying in his Shazam form like it's a defense thing.
Yeah.
Like he no longer has confidence in being Billy and that Billy belongs anymore. So like Shazam is how he's protecting himself. And I would have bought that and I would have been like, yeah, he can be Zachary Levi more often than not.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I'm like, why are they staying in that form? I think the only other person who would arguably have that case is Freddy because Freddy doesn't need to walk on the cane when he's in his super form.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, yeah, sure, him too.
But I understand Darla because she's a little girl and she wants to feel like I'm a big strong lady.
Right. And you can make cases for all them. And I mean, like Pedro gets to be a very handsome buff dude.
Yeah.
And so like there's all these reasons for them to be in their powered forms. I just felt like it was pretty inconsistent of like, why are they powered now? Why are they not powered now?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. The way that rolled down the line. Even though I liked seeing the adults as much as we did.
Yeah.
Because I really like that cast for this family. I think that's a good cast.
We got Rachel Zegler, who is the youngest 6,000-year-old
Anthea.
And again, talk about like she is so talented, y'all. Oh my god.
She is.
She's able to do so much like emoting with so little like actual character. Like she is really doing the most with like the little like I fully believe her love and like her friendship with Freddy, and like she might be 6,000 years old, but like humanity could teach her stuff. Like I bought all that stuff. I think she is so great in this movie again, like, for just being like villainess.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was chuckling a little bit like when she says I'm over 6,000 years old, and Freddy's like, oh, and then she kisses Freddy, and Victor's all like, okay, this is now very inappropriate.
Yeah. Are we okay with this?
Kind of feels really wrong now.
Yeah.
I really like that too. I think there's a lot of good stuff around her. I particularly like when she's having the conversation with him at their temple, and she says like, you protected me. Now, of course, I was about to turn their organs, rearrange their organs, but you didn't know that, so you were brave.
Hero.
She does a lot of like, again, Freddy and her kind of dominate the corner of like a lot of the growth in the film that I think is done really well.
And again, like Jack is so good, man.
And so much of Billy's character development stuff kind of gets sidelined.
It's funny because like I said, like the mission statement at the beginning of the movie is like, all right, I need to keep my family together. And then at the end of the movie, I tried to keep my family together. I held too tight. Sorry, guys. And it felt like a South Park thing where like they're just reassessing the thing that they said at the beginning. Like I felt like we need to write this in the script to make sure Billy's arc is complete. And I'm like, but is it?
It's a South Park moment of, I learned something today.
Yes. It kind of felt like it felt a little inorganic.
Well, because like it's because like it's not just that it's very clear from the beginning of the movie. It's that people are literally saying that to Billy. And then nothing really happens to make him listen to that more necessarily. They are just challenged in the way that they are going, like some of them are going to be losing their powers and stuff. And so he decides like, yeah, my bad. But like, it's not direct. Those ideas don't directly correlate to each other.
Yeah.
Like Billy should have just known. And now he's just willing to admit that was the case. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's talk about the wizard.
I'm so glad Jumon Hansu was in this so much more.
He's so good.
I had such a blast watching him.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I will never forget in my entire life seeing the Wonder Woman's back and then turning and it's his face on her body.
I wasn't prepared for that. That's really funny.
Whoa, the laugh I gave out. Oh my God.
I was thinking, it's like, did they seriously get Gal Gadot in this movie? I mean, spoilers, they eventually did. Yeah. But like the whole back, it's like kind of like in oh God, like in Shazam 1 with Superman, where it's just like up to the neck, you don't see the face. So it's like, are they gonna pull a Shazam 1? And then when she turns around and it's Jimon Hansu's head, I'm like, oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, love it. He's so good in this, and man, like David Sandberg, that dude directs horror movies. There's a lot of like horror shit in this. I think the first one had it too, but like this one, man, like the wizard pulls like a splinter.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then if you follow David Sandberg on Twitter, it's a prosthetic hand. It's a real thing that he pulls out of a fake hand. And he's like, "Yep, I got Jimon's hand right here." Like some really scary. Oh my God, I think my favorite scene in the movie is the zombie ear infection, where you whisper into someone's ear and then you become a zombie and go infect someone else. That's like my favorite version.
That's a really good inciting incident cold open for a comic book movie of them like storming into the place, taking the staff, and then turning the real turn for me is like the breaking down all the statues into dust and then turning everyone else into the statues.
They're now history.
And I was like, oh my God, that's pretty good.
It's not a problem I have with the movie, but like their powers are not really defined. Like Helen Mirren can just do like whatever.
Change elements.
I guess that's okay, that's fair. But like I feel like, well, no, actually, let me think about it. She's only doing element stuff. Okay, no, that's fine. We're fine. Because then, Lucy Liu's only doing weird chaos stuff with people's brains. She's just Wanda, evil Wanda.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
And then the other stuff that they do that isn't related to those are them using the staff.
Sorry, it is Anne I'm thinking of. Anne just does weird Doctor Strange shit where she's just shifting reality at a whim.
Yeah.
That is a little too powerful. Maybe because like she can't stop these people. Like,
but she's just like literally rearranging planes, not like slipping in and out of reality.
I'm just saying you're 6,000 years old.
Essentially, she could just go from one place to another place just by rearranging a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And then like when she gets to that place, everything's back to where it was. But I do like how when the lightning bolts or when the staff bolts coming at her, she escapes and she's like, oh, okay. And the bolt's still like, nope, still going right at her.
Well, especially in like the first part of that effect, you see it still coming as she's like stretching herself further and further away, which I thought was a good effect. I also like when it's used for comedy, like when she pulls them out of the dragon lair, and then they turn and they're like, I think all that's done really well. Yeah. God, Jimon Hansu, I really like him. I'm really glad he was paired with Freddy for a large chunk of the film. Jeff. He's like, I just said my whole name,
dude. I'm like for real. Like Jack Dylan Glazer has so much personality. Like when he's walking in the class and he just yells, Freddy!
I think honestly you get to this one and one of the things is like it made sense to cast him in the first one as Freddy because like you want a really good like young companion to Shazam and everything.
But now he outshines
you get
the
to
lead.
This point, you get to this point and you're like, maybe he should have just been Billy.
Yeah. But like, I really like him.
But the other thing I think you run into with this one is also that just like, and it's specifically a problem with Billy because like the foster kids can be the foster kids, but like Billy was cast too old. I said this when the first Shazam came out. They were not helped by the fact that the pandemic happened, but Asher is so old now that I'm like, this just doesn't work. Yeah. Especially when you have Mary over there being played by the same actress in both of her forms, which is supposed to kind of say that all of them are being played their older versions by the adult cast. And I'm like, well, Asher isn't becoming Zachary Levi anytime soon, my friends.
Nope.
Like it's just not happening.
Yeah. And again, like, I understand, like, you make a good point of, like, him being defensive and, like, staying as Shazam, but, like...
No, I'm saying that should have been more of the point. They should have used that as a reason why he stays in the form.
Give me a reason you're doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Is that, like, that should have been there. I don't think that is there.
Yeah.
But I think that's something they could have utilized to explain, like, the presence of Zachary Levi so much because like I get it. I would rather watch Zachary Levi than Asher Angel in this movie 110%.
Yeah.
Like that's true. But it is like odd to have so little Billy in the movie. And I see less of Billy in Zachary Levi's performance in this one than I did
100%. Like again, like it's crazy to think that like Billy like only has it feels like a couple lines in this movie as opposed to like Zachary Levi, but like Zachary Levi's like I'm a young kid, I'm a super boy, you know what? Like I don't feel like that's what Billy is. I didn't feel that with
he's almost 18.
Yeah, he's like, no, that's a man. That's a man. Like, it's gonna be funny going forward if just don't worry about the kid. Just don't, it's just Shazam. Don't worry about it. This movie, I mentioned some fantasy stuff that I really like, but this movie has a lot of actually really beautiful shots using like the tree. Just specifically when we first meet the dragon, and the first time we see the dragon is an incredible shot. Dude, with the wizard and shit. Oh my god, I loved it.
The dragon was really cool to see, and even when it comes out and you see how the dragon looks, because it's the guardian of a garden, so it kind of makes sense that it's made out of wood. But I do like how the dragon's design. It does look menacing and terrifying, and also looks something right out of Demon Souls or Dark Souls.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, you know, we talked about this when we got to the first one, like, love the designs of the sins, but they were so colorless and bland.
Yes.
And here we have all these Greek monsters. Again, fantastic designs. They once again feel like old claymation ideas of what these Greek monsters would look like now brought to life again.
Yeah.
That is a lot of what it feels like we're seeing here. But these were so much more vibrant and colorful. Like, I love seeing all that. Oh my god.
The harpies?
When the manticore which is the first one to come out, comes out with its scorpion tail. And kudos to that extra of that woman, because she has the best, like, what like that I've ever seen an extra have to something like that.
She got stabbed.
These monsters look great.
Yeah,
like they really do.
The unicorns.
Mm-hmm. I have to say the unicorns, like when Steve was like, oh, they bow to the king of beasts, which is, and Jimon Hanzo was like, the unicorn, and of course Darla's like, I love unicorns. It's like, no, unicorns suck. And like the whole Skittles thing, like how that came around, like where she gives Mary Skittles, and Skittles are in her pockets, and she throws her Skittle filled pants in the wash. I thought that was great, and how that comes around, and how she's like, this is the closest thing we have to ambrosia. It's probably is product placement, but at this point it's good product placement.
It's not probably. It is.
It is. It's fun product placement.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Ben. The ambrosia bit is the thing that makes all the Skittles references that come before that work for me. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, they're all building that this is how Darla is about this, that she uses it for this, which is a specific plot beat.
Yep.
And I'm like, great. You made it all work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly fine. Awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick for Mag, because Mag's leaving the comment. Gotta finish the comic book that ties in the movie, kind of, and it's written by the sixth member of the family. I totally forgot about that.
Is
Mag.
cool.
Yeah, that would be cool to check out.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, David Sandberg talked about the suits. And this is really funny because this movie was supposed to come out after Flashpoint. And it came out before Flashpoint. And his thing was, well, I'm just gonna be honest. It was a new universe, and we just wanted to do new suits, and I was going to be like, yeah, this is what the suits look like in this universe the whole time. And it's like, new universe, new suits. That's all it was. It was like, you know, Flashpoint ends. Like, it's their new 52 suits in this new universe. And like, well, Flashpoint hasn't happened yet. So it's like, why does he have new suits? Don't worry about it. No big deal. Honestly, I don't like the metal. I think the metal is weird.
Or did it? Will they retroactively say this was post Flashpoint? Who knows?
I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I think the suits are...
To be perfectly honest, I didn't really catch that they were new suits. I was just
the lightning bolt is much higher,
and it glows.
Yeah, and I'll admit that I was thinking about it specifically on Zachary Levi. It doesn't bother me as much on the other family members.
It's up there, dude.
On Zachary Levi, I was like, I liked where the bolt was placement wise on the previous.
It looks like a tie. He's wearing a tie, a big tie, especially like in our picture right here.
I love that we got the Captain Marvel reference.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, me too.
What do they call him? Like over voltage or something?
Maximum
voltage. Yeah, that was a cute little callback with a guy he was talking to in the street. Oh, the thing
Captain Sandwich. Colonel Sandwich.
The thing that I really like, despite this movie having like big, technically like world-ending odds, like it takes place in a city of brotherly love. Like it doesn't feel like a giant movie, even though it is. You know what I mean?
Helps.
The dome thing really helps. I think that's why I like it.
And that felt natural.
Yeah.
It's getting moist in the city of brotherly love.
Yes. Yeah, this movie's funny, man. Absolutely. Like, whereas it might be not, the plot's fine, the character stuff isn't as good, but like, I think the action in the comedy is like really good.
Really solid.
It's really solid.
I do love the way that he gets all of the family members to go. I was like, boy, sure seems like a great day in Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
And then like fiascos.
And then all the kids just go, ugh, really?
Yeah. Did your dad have super speed? Nope.
Yeah.
There's a lot of genuinely good comedy. I remember like one of the hot lines you and I like, for some reason it tickled both you and me, was when Freddie says, just screams his name at Rachel Ziegler like out of nowhere.
Freddie! It's my name.
It's my name. I got me.
I know this is a weird movie, like a weird thing to say, but like I like Jack Dylan Glazer so much in this movie. I'm like, I hope this dude becomes like a superstar. This dude has so much personality and charisma. And I know he's in it and stuff, but like I really hope like this helps his career. Because he's so good, and like it is a shame. It is kind of a shame that he's not like he isn't the lead, because like he feels like the lead in this one. He's made it more than the other guy is.
I'll be honest with you, like something I kind of thought of early on in the film, like what the staff was going to do when it was first getting to that scene, they were going to nail down when Adam Brody's on the roof with the villains. My mind didn't leap to them losing their powers. My mind leapt to them getting separated. So the kids were going to have to interact with their adult superhero forms, and I'm like, oh man, that'd be kind of
that would be awesome.
Maybe another movie.
That's the next one.
But I thought that would have been pretty wild to see.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the entire cast. I think Ross Butler is churning. Like we get so much more time with the adult superhero versions, and I think they're all just so well cast, and the kids are still like top notch. I also love the Pedro bit. Where they're like, it's time, no more secrets, and Pedro says like, I'm gay, and everyone's like, yeah, we know, bro, yeah, cool, love you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I also just love how he
keeps getting struck by lightning.
That's the thing.
That's
because there's an earlier thing I check out, like electrician, like our house gets struck by lightning, like it's because you got a bunch of kids here.
And then of course when he does Shazam, and Victor's like, is that why our house gets hit by lightning?
Yeah.
I think again, like I love like all like the Minotaur and stuff, but like I think the final action scene like is really inventive and cool. Like using this staff as like a battery, basically doing a Majin Vegeta against Majin Buu.
I will say, I don't think that it's a plot point that's built up to quite as well as I wish in this movie. However, when thinking back to the first Shazam and kind of how the wizard kind of looks down on Billy when he still picks Billy, and that being the last indications he has from him before he dies, which I'm so glad they just decided like, no, he didn't. We're reviving him. Is Jimon Hansu. I really love this bit where Billy says, you were right, you never should have picked me. And he's like, he has the whole speech where he's like, that you didn't hesitate to share your power with your family.
Yeah.
I was right to choose you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really good full circle and very counter narrative to the one that we got from the Wizard in Shazam. Like I like that they brought him back, because it feels like it is for a full purpose to like give Billy the confidence of like, no, I was right. I shouldn't have made you feel like I was wrong.
I spent generations looking for the
champion. In the first movie it feels like Billy's chosen out of desperation rather than purpose.
Yeah.
And the wizard
Destiny.
The wizard like really speaks to that, but like having him come back here and express directly like Billy's affection for his family is the reason why he's like, I know I was right.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think that bit is very, very good.
I do like the idea of like the wisdom of Solomon is actually like using your heart. I think that's kind of cool, because like Billy's not a smart kid. He doesn't have the wisdom of Solo Man.
I love that bit where it's like the wisdom is like, we're missing this one. It's like
Saruman. Yeah. The script. The script, because I brought up the Sparkz before, but this script was written by the guy who wrote the first one, but also by Chris Morgan, who is like one of the guys who did all the Fast and Furious movies. He wrote all those movies, and I'm like, there's some fun action shit happening here. I could see where his input was in here. Okay, yeah.
I also really appreciate that the majority of our third act battle stuff is in daytime.
Yes.
It's very vibrant, very colorful. I really like seeing it. I don't mind that the very last bit is in nighttime. I think it's still very clear to see, especially because of the glow powers of both Shazam and the dragon.
And all the lightning.
And so it's very clear what's happening. Like I don't feel lost or muddied. That is part of what really helps this movie. Is just like, it's just a lot of fun to look at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the effects look good, and like David Sandberg is the guy who like he is a visual effects dude himself, so like like probably having extra time, like I think this movie looks pretty good. It is a lower, it's it's not an Avengers level movie in terms of budget, but like it's just a good looking movie. Like that bark dragon is awesome. Those harpies with their like white eyes, scared. Like, man, when's the last time I saw a harpy in a movie? And it wasn't a superhero movie. Like, what are you doing? I love it. Wonder Woman's in this movie. I don't know why. See, here's what I thought. Here's why I thought Wonder Woman was going to show up. They need nectar from the gods. They need ambrosia. Who is a god that you know? It's Or you just come and resurrect the kid, I guess. I don't know.
So there was one thing where like that I'm not gonna. I don't care enough about this plot point to be upset about it, but they basically say that like, oh yeah, the tree here can be revitalized by a god, and I'm like, you literally had 2 gods standing right here. You mean they didn't need the seed? They just had to grab the staff and zap it with their god strength? Because that's really all she qualifies for, is that she comes as a god and she brings the life back to the tree.
Oh yeah,
with
she
the
does
staff. And so it's like, wait, so Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu could have just, they didn't need the seed. They could have just done this once they had the staff. And whatever. I'm not gonna get that picky about that.
Yeah.
But like, it is something where I think it's great that she restores the power to the staff, resurrects the kid. Cool. I honestly thought they were going to do a thing where like we can bring him back, but only as his adult body. Like, I was
kind of hoping for that. That's what I kind of like. I was like, that's the stipulation here, like or whatever.
Like when he dies, I'm like, he's not going to stay dead, is he? And then like I do like the zombie bit where he like his hand busts through the ground and everyone's like, ah, and he's like, you guys buried me?
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
I will say, I knew he wasn't gonna die.
Yeah.
But
you have something in your teeth. That is a spider. I'm sorry. That's embarrassing.
That is so embarrassing. And she's like, it is. But you're a good kid or whatever. I didn't feel emotional when Billy died. I did feel emotional watching Freddy watch his friend die.
Yes,
because Freddy crying, screaming, no, 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 we're supposed to be a team. Yo, there's a performance that you make me cry.
And I think if just like, again, their arc had been so much more central, like the 2 of them together and like the rift between them and the different ways they're trying to move forward with their lives. If that had been more central to the story of the film, then I think that beat would have hit a lot harder.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That flaming violin that we don't know what it does. It's haunting though.
Oh yeah, they just bring it.
Yeah, they bring it and distract them, and they're like, "What is that?" It's like it's a flaming violin. Who knows? Distraction.
Yeah,
and then I also even like when he distracts Lucy Liu and he's like, "Ha, that's twice. I got you twice. I didn't even play violin this time. Bye," and he just flies away.
I love when, I don't know if it's the first time or second time, but Billy has the staff. And he's like, cool, and he just throws it to someone else, and Lucy Liu just catches it. And I was like, Billy, what?
And he's like, oh man. And then the wizard's like to Freddy, like, your cane, Shazam!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's able to touch the staff with his cane, and that's enough.
Oh yeah, Adam Brody.
That moved really well and very quickly.
Yeah, Adam Brody, who was going to be the Flash in the original George Miller Justice League, who was going to be Wally West. Seeing him in this, I'm like, damn, he really would have been a good Flash. Yeah. That dude is really good. He's really
charming.
It's
so hard. Oh, it's so heavy. It's actually no problem.
Yeah.
That
was it, man.
Captain Every Power.
Oh God, Captain
Every Power Jr. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. But again, like, God, if they just kept them a little more central instead of getting, I do feel like it's important to keep the villain plot like going in like present for them as a threat, but like it feels like we got a little lost in the weeds on like the core character stuff that should have been going on for Billy.
I think with how and I don't mean this like really negatively, but how like simple our villains are, you could have lost some of their material to give more to our heroes, I think. Because like at the end of the day, there's like, oh, they're just doing a Man of Steel. Like they're going to bring their world to our world, right?
And I think honestly, you could have you give a second pass at the script. You could have done more with how Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are rifting apart, and
just
how that
like
Freddie and Billy.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. But it's not all the way there. It just feels like it needed to have like another pass on the script and like dig into like what is the central arc theme stuff for these characters, and you could have had something truly monumentously great.
Yeah.
Like even with that said, it's pretty good. It's a lot better than I was anticipating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The early buzz was like, hey, it's another superhero movie. It's fine. And I was like, okay, like, and I already, again, I'm the outlier.
But when you hear that, you're thinking Black Adam.
Yeah. So like, I guess my expectations were also low, but like, I do think this is, you know, it might not be as tight as like as quote unquote like a good movie as that first one, but I had a lot more fun with this movie.
There was a lot of fun to be
There's a lot, like, this is a great theater experience, and this is one I would watch this one again because it's like I want to see Jimon Hunsu cut loose again, him get a haircut, looking all suave.
I do believe that the entire cast is having a good time.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot. Like whether it's the villains or our adult superheroes or the kids, I think everybody, or the parents, I think everybody is here and committing and having a great time. Even Zachary Levi, I think, like, even though I think there's some not quite consistencies of him portraying this older Billy.
Yeah.
I still think he's like giving a lot to it and committed.
I think I'm going to need another rewatch of this maybe when it comes out on HBO Max in a few months, because unfortunately my theater experience wasn't the best. There was there was a few small kids around where I was, but also there was a dude in front of me who was on his phone a lot.
I hate that. Sure.
I was just like, he was right in front of me too, and I could have used my foot to kick his seat so he could. And when he brought his phone out at first, his wife or whoever he was with said, "Honey, put your phone away." But then he was going on it. If he would go on it, and my attention went. I'm just like,
it's hard in a dark room. Yeah. We brought up a little bit earlier, but Mag is like surprised they brought the Manticore. Yeah. The second I saw Manticore, I looked over to Sparkz. I'm like, yo, is that a Manticore?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing with these Greek mythology monsters? I love it. And again, I think. Oh, Ben, I'm glad you didn't get spoiled, but Warner Brothers themselves have released TV spots for Shazam that spoil the Wonder Woman cameo. It's the line
we both knew before we went in.
Like not even on Twitter where like it was hard to miss. Like it was a YouTube ad that I couldn't skip for the first 5 seconds. You know how that happens? Wonder Woman is in those first 5 seconds. It's like, like stay a hero, kid, or whatever her final line in the movie.
That's cool.
So I thought she was in the entire like last act or more significant role, as opposed to just being what you show me in the teaser. It was baffling, and I do think because Sparkz like told me like it's probably because like they're worried about this movie making money. I don't know how big the buzz is, and it made a decent amount, but it didn't make,
I mean, it's like the same thing as like Henry Cavill being leaked that he's in Black Adam. Like they might not have put it in the trailer because it's frankly such a small moment. They would have just put the post-credit scene out there.
Yeah.
But like it's basically the same thing where they're saying like you're gonna want to see this because Henry Cavill's gonna be there.
Yeah, and I guess again like she's in that movie for literally 4 minutes, and I'm just like, man, like it wasn't even significant enough where like it didn't even bother me that I got spoiled.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was more surprised she showed up in the diner with Jimon Hansu's head.
That was so that was so funny.
Yeah. So
Jimon Hansu, I'm just so glad that he was in this. I think he gets to have more fun in this role than he's had for a while in his appearances. So like it was a blast to see that the dream sequence. I love when he comes back with his new fit at the end of the movie.
Haircut, soul patch.
Looking great.
And he's like, I'm going to go turn into ashes now. And everyone's like, what? He's like, I'm just kidding. I'm just going to go hang out in your world.
That's a joke. I'll see you later, Jeff.
Yeah. Yo, man. That's a funny movie. Do we have any final thoughts before we jump into some post-credits?
Not really.
Beautiful.
I do want to talk about
it. I think we've covered it pretty well. That just like, it's still quite good.
Yeah.
Just like there are clearly some notches where like you could have gotten it. You could have like almost really gotten some incredible character stuff going on here.
Yeah. Okay, so I was definitely surprised to see Hardcore and John Economos show up, because I'm like, man, we're just living in James Gunn's world now, aren't we? Hell yeah. Not the characters I think would show up in a Shazam movie, but also not who I thought would show up in Black Adam.
Right after she showed up in Black Adam,
which is interesting. Like even though he's joined on with James Gunn as this new lead, Peter Safran has been a Warner Brothers producer for a long time, right? So it's the Justice Society. Didn't we just see them though? Is this a new Justice Society? Is it that Justice Society?
I'm sure it is, because like Waller's clearly connected to that Justice Society.
Yeah.
Let's just go with the context, like pre-Flash of all this.
Yes.
And so Waller is connected to that Justice Society, and Harcourt is as well. And so like when Waller recruits somebody and not Batman, they go to the Justice Society.
Yeah.
And that's where she wants Shazam.
They're like the UN Justice League.
You know what I just realized? So once we got to that scene and Fanny looks over to me, she's like, wait, the Justice Society? How's that different than the Justice League? I completely forgot that the JSA was in Black Adam.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 5 seconds ago I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Because I was thinking, they're going to form the Justice Society. We already got the Justice Society. Black Adam's freaking... Well, my God. Yeah, Dr. Fate was the best part of that thing. I do like Hawkman. Hawkman was cool, but Dr. Fate was empty. Black Adam's forgettable. It's mid. There's a reason why I said it.
10K. I really like this post-credit scene just because, again, I love those Peacemaker characters. I think they're great. They're just fun actors to be around. But like the idea that there does seem to be some sort of plan that James Gunn is building to is and we're seeing even the earliest stages of it.
In theory,
yeah, is really cool
because we don't know if this wasn't just also done around the same time they were doing the Black Adam tie-in stuff, and so just trying to build that cohesive narrative that was pre James Gunn actually making the plans of the entire universe. So we don't know how this is really going to roll into the next.
I'm just saying
the next chapter.
They could have cut that if they didn't want to. If they could have Justice Society stuff has to happen because like why include this scene at all? Then like they could have cut it with James Gunn coming in. Why not cut it if you're not going to do that?
So his wife gets a paycheck.
Well, she got paid anyway. She got paid anyway. I definitely think the second one we'll talk about, that is the fun one where I think they're making fun of not having a plan. But the first one, like, it does feel like, hey, we're gonna throw something at the wall and see if it succeeds. How do you guys feel about that? What if Shazam joined the Justice Society? He's an old guy. He's part of that thing once, right? Like, how do you feel about that? I don't know if anyone knows who the Justice Society is, if you've never read a comic book.
Or didn't see Black Adam.
Even then, Ben knows the shit and he didn't remember. So
I was all like talking about how the JSA were the wartime heroes. They predate the Justice League, yada yada yada. Just anymore. Like stretching my comic knowledge muscles, and then literally 5 seconds, and then 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes ago, it's like, oh wait, they were in the Black Adam film. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I'm strongly all for James Gunn and Safran's like future for the DC universe and like what they're doing. I'm really all for it. I do think it's a shame that the Henry Cavill, The Rock, Zachary Levi showdown is not going to happen. Partially because The Rock is like, who's Shazam who? But also because like we're just leaving all that behind. And I do think that's a bummer. I think it's a shame to have had like Jimon Hansu in Black Adam last year, and like all the connective tissue starting to really bake in, and it's like that part of the story that's not going to come to anything.
And also how we're probably never going to get a Shazam Black Adam or Shazam Superman v Black Adam movie.
At least that's what I was saying.
The Rock really bungled things up because again, like David Sandberg doing a bunch of interviews now.
Just recast Black Adam and you can do it.
100%. He's talking about. He's like, like it obviously makes sense for Black Adam to fight Shazam. We all wanted it to happen. It just wasn't in the cards. Because he even said, because The Rock, he even said that's money just being left on the table for Warner Brothers, but it's not my decision to make. He clearly wants to do it. Like it's just The Rock has too much power, unfortunately.
He doesn't want to be Tina Huerta and be the cool Namor character. He just should have.
He should have just
put his ego aside.
He will never be Cuckoo Clock.
Mag, can you elaborate? Cool to see a cameo of a TV version, Billy Batson?
So there was an old school like 70s TV show of Shazam of Captain Marvel. I wonder if like, do you mean the actor? Did like an old man show up?
I'm pretty sure because the guy who was in the red and white shirt who says "Good to see you, Captain Marvel." I'm pretty sure that was. I'm pretty sure that was him. That's the guy that Mag is referring to.
No, there's definitely because I just watched the video on Shazam and there was like an old TV show that he was. So that's a good catch, Mag. I love that.
I had a feeling he was important because not only does he drop his original comic book name, but also he's wearing the color scheme of Captain Marvel's Shazam. So I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but he seems important.
Love it. That's cool. Yeah, giving him the Captain Marvel. Oh, also like how Shazam is his name. It's like, oh yeah, of course it is. At the end, I think that's cute and charming. I forgot that he didn't have a name yet. That makes sense because the whole movie's like Captain Ivy Power and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a worm.
Oh God, I'm actually glad they brought the worm back, and they brought.
I would have been pissed if they didn't.
I was expecting Black Adam to show up, but now that I forgot, Rock has an ego, never gonna show up. So, but I'm glad they brought the worm back, and they brought Savannah back for a hot second.
Mark Strong, what a trooper! I love him just coming back to do a post-credit scene. Like he probably like, will he show up as Savannah again? Like in like real like a movie? Maybe not, but like I love, and again like. I feel like this is like the opposite of that first scene, even if nothing happens with that first scene. But this whole thing of like, I'm the villain and I've been catching this plan for years.
2 years.
2 years. Well, hold on. Actually,
it takes me time to go from place to place. I think it's very funny because like it was the post-credits tease from the last one, which is again, like really funny in context because like nobody knows who that worm is. And so then, and then you get to 2 years later and he's like, don't worry, we're still making plans.
But hold on.
Will this ever happen?
Hold on. I have to go do something real quick.
The idea of Mark Strong's Dr. Savannah sitting in the cell just getting blue-balled about potential revenge forever is pretty funny.
Yeah. At first, I thought just because, my comic book brain, I'm like, are they setting up, the Justice Society, and here's the villains that they'll fight. Then I'm thinking of like, no, that worm ran away again before he actually said anything. I'm like, nah, they're just making fun of not having a plan. I think it was really clever. Like, you just make Mr. Mime just like the post-credit villain. That would actually be incredibly funny. Where he only shows up in post-credit scenes and is just frustrated by it. I'd be okay with that. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. Because I was trying to remember the Captain Marvel book we read a long time ago when the first Shazam movie came out that introduces that worm, or it doesn't introduce, but the worm is a major villain of that book. So of course, when we saw it in the post-credit scene, we were like, oh my God, they're doing this deep cut of this book that we just read. And then we get to the scene. I'm like, cool, they're still referring to it. I like it. I do find it funny.
I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but Mag pointed out that we still don't get a magic tiger yet. And I'm like, that wouldn't have fit in this movie, in my opinion.
No.
Like, this movie's very stuffed as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Darla does name the kitten she adopts Tawny, but gives it back. I do like that scene where she's like, oh, kitten. She saves the kittens first. And the girl in the Beatles like, did she just leave us? She zooms right back. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm really just on that post-credits thing. Like, I'm really glad they did get Mark Strong back to do that because, like, I think that was better than just like not doing it at all. Is like bringing it all back again and being like, someday, maybe,
maybe.
Again, like just like humor on point for this movie.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I think there are some minor things that could have improved it overall, but like pretty good outing.
What would you rate it?
I had a lot of fun. I would rate it an 8.
That is exactly where I'm at as well. I was between a 7.5 and an 8, but I think this movie is funnier than a 7.5 would give it. I think there are better qualities than a 7.5, so I'm giving it an 8.
I think I'll still keep it as 7.5, although I will say you guys have talked me up from bringing it up because I was originally thinking maybe a 6.5. But the more I talked about it with you guys, the more I realized that actually, no, this is a funny movie. While it's not the best superhero movie, I still did have a good time. It was probably my theater experience that did kind of damper the mood a little bit.
Yeah,
sure.
Other than that, because after talking about the scenes, I mean, I will not laugh at "Taste the Rainbow, Mother," nay, and you see like the unicorn neighing. I'm like, damn, unicorn's scary.
Black heavy
King
metal
beasts.
Yeah, the king of the beasts.
Yeah, and like how it has sharp teeth and it's not just a complete horse. This movie, I still believe that maybe if the script can get a once over, maybe a twice over, we would have something amazing. The potential was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What we got, I'm still happy about it, but I still think we could have had a truly great superhero movie. I still think this is a fun time in the movie theaters, but I would still say it's 7.5. It's still good. I like it. I just don't love it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm happy that it came out much more positive than people were making me afraid of.
Yeah.
Over the past few years. Like I'm quite positive about it.
And like whatever again with that Justice Society post-credit scene, that makes me think that they could have cut that. Regardless, like Shazam will show up again. Like they're not done with Shazam.
Right.
And like I like this movie enough where I'm like, I would like to see this continue in some capacity, even if it's not another Shazam movie. Have the Shazam or even just Billy show up in someone else's movie. Like I hope
we don't lose the family. I will say
I think that would be a huge mistake.
If we're not losing Billy, then I don't want to lose any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also the double-edged sword of like you introduce a family so early instead of have Billy grow his own thing. It's like having it start with the family. Are you gonna start killing the family? You can't do that. Like you always got to have the family. It's always a Shazam.
Yeah, always got to have the Shazamly.
Love it. Well,
all right,
Brandon, take us out.